The wait is over. Every other review for Sleeping Dogs, just bin it. Just bin it. You've been waiting for the Triple E review. I'm here, unpolished, unprofessional, unscripted, giving you what you need. True crime Hong Kong, that's what you need. You don't need Sleeping Dogs. That's what this game should have been called. Anyway, I'm the Phranchize. Moving on, straight into the review. We're going to look at Sleeping Dogs. True crime Hong Kong. We're going to look at Sleeping Dogs. First things first. The game is huge. Alright, it's an open world sandbox. It's an absolutely massive game. The comparisons are slap in the face obvious to Grand Theft Auto, Saints Row, other such massive sandbox world sort of games. Straight off the bat, this game is too big for me to do any sort of massive review on. I tried it with Mass Effect, I tried it with The Witcher. The games are too big. I mean, I did alright. But I would have liked to have given it more time, and I would have liked to have done a bigger review, but it's just not feasible right now. So we're going to look at it. First off, the game looks gorgeous. Hong Kong is recreated to an amazing level. I mean, I've never been to Hong Kong. I couldn't tell you if this is what Hong Kong looks like, but my stereotypical view of Hong Kong is pretty much bang on the money, with a few more maybe rickshaws. Short Round from Indiana Jones. That kid out of the Goonies with a boxing glove belt thing. A couple of them dotting about, and it would be my total mental depiction of Hong Kong. Anyway, the game looks phenomenal. The first downside, I don't like to go into downsides on the reviews. I like to address areas that I think are really good and why I should buy it, but I don't particularly think the controls are as tight as they should have been. I'm putting it out there. The controls aren't as tight as I want them to be. I mean, it's a little bit loose with the guns, of which there are many. I don't think I put any gunplay in this review, actually. I'll tell you why later. But basically, the controls when you're driving, when you're running about, they feel like they start working after you tell them to and stop working after you tell them to, if you know what I mean. If you've played the game, you might know what I mean, you might agree. The comparisons to every other sandbox game, like I say, are really obvious. You've got quests, you've got clothes shops, you've got health shops. I think this is recorded pretty early on in the game. Obviously there's a lot more you can do. You end up running around in a suit. Suits are awesome. If you kung fu a guy in the face wearing a suit, I'd fall in love with you immediately. But see, I've gone and knocked myself off track now. Let's get back into it. Looks awesome. Doesn't handle as well as I'd like it to. The gameplay elements, pretty much the same as every other sandbox. Quest here, quest there, hidden item here, hidden item there. Level up, unlock moves, unlock to X, Y and Z. It's all there. It's a very deep game. You will get a lot out of it. Even though there's no multiplayer, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I would have liked multiplayer, because Kung Fu and somebody in multiplayer would have been awesome. But the game handles sort of alright, looks amazing. We'll go into, I think, probably the main draw for me was the aforementioned Kung Fu. You see a lot of games, melee combat or sword combat, if you're talking about The Witcher and things like that, Skyrim. When I saw sort of the live action trailers and whatnot for this, and you think, actually, can they actually recreate that in a game? Will it be that good? Can you capture Kung Fu like that? They've done it incredibly well. And for me, total winner. Total winner. I don't think I've put any gunplay in here, but to be honest, if I could avoid using a gun for the most part in this game, I actually did, because I prefer the Kung Fu. You've got like full melee combat, but sort of environmental attacks as well. There will be combat coming up. The map. Look at the size of the game. This is what I'm talking about. This game is massive. It's a map comparable to the likes of your Grand Theft Autos. Quests dotted all over it. You've got, obviously he's an undercover cop. I don't know if I told you the storyline. He's an undercover cop infiltrating the triad. So you've got cop missions, you've got triad missions, and then you've got sort of face missions where you're just literally making a name for yourself, and you level up in all of those. Here's when we get into the combat, sort of just kung fu mania. It's not like just run up and button mash somebody in the face. It just looks better. I would liken it to, you've got the environmental attacks there, and they all look good. There's literally hundreds of them as well. But I would liken the combat in a sense to the likes of your Batman. I think there's been a million comparisons to Batman, but you see them glow red, and if you hit the button at the right time, you sort of counter it with a nice. Obviously, I'm not hitting the button at the right time there. Counter it with a nice little cheeky attack, but you can see it looks amazing. The environmental attacks, the kung fu combos, the unlockable moves. This is the game changer for me. This was the one that sold it. We're going to wrap it up there now. Like I said, there's a lot that I didn't get to go into because the game is far too big. It does have its little niggles. The controls I wasn't too happy with, but I can overlook that because everything else was highly enjoyable. I'm not going to give it a must buy, however controversial that may be. I'm going to give it I probably would buy. Not a must, I probably would. Rent it, and if you like it, buy it. But yeah, it's got some decent longevity in it as well, the amount of quests and everything. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any, obviously, opinions of it yourself, let us know. Looking forward to hearing them. Keep checking back for more Triple E reviews, and I will catch you on the flip side on whatever the cool kids say. Peace!